welcome to another RSR. Tonight I'm recapping the conference semifinals and predicting the conference finals of the 2023 MLS Cup Playoffs. Pretty good round of conference semis, an enjoyable round, an enjoyable time. But in the end, most of it was chalk. Eastern Conference Semifinal 2, on the other hand, not really. But starting with Eastern Conference Semifinal 2, because it was the first one played of the four. Orlando City SC 0, Columbus Crew 2. Columbus Crew wins. I was wrong about this one. I thought Orlando would win the tie. Turns out no. Columbus Crew was the better team. They came in there wanting to make a point, and they certainly did make a point. In this matchup, they made a point and said, hey, we're going to win. And to me, they did. They certainly made a point and won, in my eyes. And for me, Columbus, it's funny because Columbus had their first ever 0-0 draw over 90 minutes this year in this matchup. They have never had a 0-0 draw this year until this match. So this game should have never went to extra time, but it somehow did. And that's crazy. Columbus's defense really stepped up in this game. Their offense got 2 goals in extra time. Ramirez and Cucho with the chip, the empty net chip, to shut it down and get the win. Orlando never really had an answer. They just weren't on time. They just did not show up in this matchup at home, and it's sad. I thought they would show up. Turns out Orlando, when they struggled with Nashville, there was a reason why they did that. And there you go. I was wrong about that one. 0-1 on my predictions. 0-for-1, 0-1. You hate to see it. But Eastern Conference Semifinal 1. FC Cincinnati 1. Philadelphia Union 0. I was right about this one. I had Cincy winning. I said they were fraudulent, but I thought Philly had a couple too many injuries. Their locker room's about to fall apart. And then the Wagner situation, it just never really, I thought it would pan out for them. I thought this was not the year for Philly. And they got closer than I thought. This was very much like last year's conference semifinal in Philly between Cincy and Philly, except Cincy was the team who ran the game tonight, or when it was played, and got the late goal to win the tie. And they did. Late goal. You could say that Murphy was offside. I still didn't see it. And even then, it wasn't clear and obvious, so you can't overturn it anyway. Good goal by Mosquera. Nobody was on him, which maybe because they thought Murphy was offside. But in the end, you still got to play the play through to the end, if that was the case. So, in the end, I was right about this one. Philly put up a good fight, but Cincy got it done at home. 1-1 on my predictions, 1-for-2. Western Conference Semifinal 1, Houston Dynamo 1, Sporting KC 0. They got a goal early-ish. And then they held on for dear life. Sporting Kansas City had their moments too. This was a very open game, a very well-played game, to say. And both teams had chances. This could have easily been 2-2, 3-2. I'm surprised it wasn't. Kansas City could have had a penalty right after the goal, a penalty shot, which the more I look at it, the more I see they should feel aggrieved. I will say I didn't see it at first, but looking at it more from Svachenko getting the handball, getting off the line, the handball, I'm starting to see that maybe they were aggrieved or should have been aggrieved. So there, Kansas City probably should have tied it up, but Houston was just good enough to win. They had a better defense, they had a better goal, a better forward play, which is crazy because they didn't really have a great forward play against RSL, and they didn't really here, but they got 1 goal and didn't allow any, so I guess it still works out. But I was right about it. Houston beat Sporting 2-1 on my predictions, 2 out of 3, 2 for 3. And then finally, Western Conference Semifinal 2, Seattle Sounders 0, LAFC 1. LAFC, I thought they would pipe Seattle. I didn't think it would take one goal and they would absolutely turtle. But Maxime Crépeau made sure that worked because he stood in his damn head. Maxime Crépeau is him. I don't care what you say. He's him. He should be wearing a Canada shirt, the number 1 for Canada. He should be wearing the freaking LAFC shirt. He is a damn God. Jesus God. I don't know what to say, but I can tell you one thing. He is a immortal being with how he played. LAFC, I've never seen him turtle like that, but in the end, hey, it worked out. LAFC won 1-0. The game did not go how I expected it to, but I still picked LAFC to win, and they still did win. So that is 3-1 on my predictions, 3 out of 4. Not too bad. Pretty good, actually. But my Eastern finalist is out the round after St. Louis gets knocked out. So at this point, or I should say, whatever my final is predicted to be tonight, well, we'll find out if that's right. But both my finalists are new finalists. So, speaking of predictions, the MLS Conference Finals, starting with the Eastern Conference Final, the first game to be played on Saturday, the 2nd of December. Eastern Conference Final, FC Cincinnati versus Columbus Crew FC, or Columbus Crew SC. They're not even an SC anymore. I was looking at that. Columbus Crew. For me, it is a hell is real derby in the Eastern Conference Final at TQL Stadium. This game's going to be crazy. It's a good way to start Conference Final Saturday. Because I'm not watching the SEC Championship because I have no reason to. Even though I could watch a little bit of it before this game starts. But whatever. Technically, that's a conference final too. But FC Cincinnati versus Columbus Crew. For me, I think Cincinnati right now is the better team. Columbus has played very well in this playoff. They've been very hot. They've been good defensively. They've had great offensive play. Columbus have been very well played. They could knock out Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati are slightly fraudulent for a Supporter Shield winner. I don't think they've been great throughout the playoffs. I think they've gotten through beating the Red Bulls because, well, they did beat the Red Bulls at home pretty convincingly. Then they won on penalties, and then they took almost a whole game to beat Philly. Could have went to extra time. Columbus is their hardest challenge, and it's a derby, so anything can happen. But I do think Cincinnati, they have the MVP. They have the MVP in Lucho Acosta, just announced today. I think Lucho is a wonderful player. They finally have to figure something out, Brandon and Lucho. They just have to have a game of them being the MVP candidate and the beneficiary they've been all year. They have to. And I think they're going to have a fire lit under their ass because it's a hell is real derby. Columbus is going to fight hard. I think it's going to be 3-2, but I think it's going to be 3-2 FC Cincinnati, a late winner. Sends Cincinnati to a home MLS Cup against the winner of the West. LAFC versus Houston Dynamo FC in the Western Conference Final. For me, I like what Houston's doing. They could be a team of destiny. Their forward line is not good enough. They don't score enough goals. And if LAFC at home do what they should have done against Seattle, this might be a bloodbath. And I kind of feel like it will be. Denny Bouanga is probably going to single-handedly get LAFC to the Cup Final for a second straight year to have them a chance to be 90 minutes or 120 minutes away from defending their trophy. Denny Bouanga is single-handedly going to put LAFC through. They'll probably get a goal from Vela or a guy like Ordaz or something like that, or Oliveira. They'll find a third goal that way, but I think it'll be 3-1. I think it'll be 3-1 LAFC at home. They don't lose at home normally in MLS games. They don't lose at home in MLS games. And LAFC right now, I think, are the favorite to win it all, to be completely honest, because out of these four teams, LAFC are the defending champions. They're starting to wake up at the right time to at least do the bare minimum for their season. And Houston, hell, I think they probably would have beat St. Louis anyway. But Houston, I don't think they have the forward play. They're good defensively. They're good in the midfield. It could make the scoreline lower. But against Denny Bwanga, you have him going on fire, which he's on fire right now. I think he could easily just make a midfield look like idiots 2 or 3 times. He almost did it against Seattle, and they're at least as good, if not maybe better, than Houston. So 3-1 LAFC, which means my predicted MLS Cup final is FC Cincinnati hosting LAFC on December 9th. Yeah, December 9th. Which should be a good game, I should say. But Cincy LAFC is going to be the MLS Cup final. The top of the East, the Supporters Shield winners versus the defending MLS Cup champions. We'll get a back-to-back in some way in that final if it comes to pass. Back-to-back MLS Cup champions or back-to-back Shield winners winning the Cup. Which, hey, that doesn't happen much. Either way, that doesn't happen much. So that should be interesting. So with that being said, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Send super chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put us in play. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I shall see you tomorrow for a live watch along of both the Caribbean Cup third place game, leg 1. Be Harborview versus Mocha. Harborview versus Mocha FC. And the first leg of the Central American Cup final, Real Esteli versus LD Alajuelense. And I will review Esteli versus Alajuelense tomorrow. And then, of course, Wednesday off. Thursday is the Caribbean Cup final first leg. That'll be Robin Hood versus Cavalier. Live in RSR. Friday off. Saturday, conference finals. Sunday, nothing. I think so, right. So, there you go. And then next week's suit week. So, there you go. With that being said, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Ron and I'm out. Peace. See you.